you know, and it's like, yeah, that is what friends do. And like, I have a friend, my friend Lynn, like she'll always agree with me. I love it. It's like,
this is a moment where you can truly tell that we are not a parenting expert podcast. Natasha, we're back.
Great to be back.
It's incredible to be back. And one of the most exciting parts about today is that we have tons of questions from you guys that we're going to get right into.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. But first, let's talk about Austin.
Let's talk about us.
Are you happy to be home?
Totally. I liked Austin. It was fun. I loved our podcast with Sophie. She's so cute.
Yes.
She was such an inspiration to me too, because it made me realize this podcast, we've always had mothers on and fathers on, but in a way, it's like, where is all the evidence of all the parenting trends that everyone's touting online?
It's literally behind the wheel of all these human bodies that are crashing around in our lives. So it was fun to be like, Sophie, how were you raised?
Yeah, because it's like, I just don't think we know yet that this stuff works. How do we know that Dr. Becky whispering into her child's ear, there's nothing you do that could make me love you any less, is going to create the kind of kid who is someone that we look up to? Someone like Sophie,
if you say
raised
it like
homeless in a drawer.
Raised homeless is
loves
the way
her
to be.
Mom. I'm just saying, we don't have proof that any of this shit works. So I actually really enjoy talking to successful people who want to share their stories about what their parents did.
And the takeaway being that, like, her mom was not perfect. She was able to drink lychee martinis when she was 14, but, like, she's not in therapy talking about it. She's on stage talking about life from a pretty smart perspective.
Exactly.
Anyways, Austin was a little different this time. I found it to be, like, the unhoused mixing into the regular society. And when
like
I say unhoused,
tech people,
it's
coming
tech
to
people
AI
and drug
events.
addicts, and they both freak me out. They're both, I look to the left and it's like venture capitalist. I look to the right and it's like a girl that's on the fringe of getting trafficked. And I'm like, I need to get back to LA where there's absolutely no problems.
Oh my God.
But I have an era.
Okay, what is it?
Speaking of no problems, I feel like when I was young, saying I was gay was this like big mountain I had to climb. And on the other end of it, it felt as if I would be like alone with no kids, no family, no prospects, basically crackhead. And now that I am here in my early 40s here, about to turn 41, I'm looking around at my friends who have husbands and kids. And guess what I'm seeing? A bunch of angry ladies. A bunch of women who are fucking pissed that are like, I want to leave this motherfucker. I want to start a commune with my best friend and we will raise our kids together. And I'm like, guess what that is? That's being a lesbian. And I'm like, oh my God, we all got bamboozled. We all got bamboozled. I didn't. I said, guys, don't suck the dick. They said, hold on, hold my beer. They sucked the dick.
I have a friend who said that they started going deep into TikTok and there's like a whole sect, or maybe it's reels of like, I hate my husband.
Yes.
I feel like I had to get away from it because you could get so sucked into, there is something happening.
You're either sucked into that or you're sucking a dick and you have to make your choice.
What are you going to suck?
I feel like a lot of, I mean, I think it's a shadow side of feminism that like women were told, rightfully so, you can do anything, go get a job, go live your life. And then they realized they needed to make families. And then they have these jobs and they've got these families. What?
I just thought of something.
Being gay?
No.
What?
Well, because I'm like, I want to say as a rebuttal, yes, but it doesn't work. The communes don't work because the men always try to fuck everybody. But
yes.
It's a female. It's like
a female commune.
The men aren't The men are invite only.
That's
and it's
right.
run by the women. We haven't tried that yet.
We haven't tried that yet. And guess what? The women, I know what you're thinking. Women are nightmares too. Guess what? Walk the plank, baby. The commune has a plank. And if you are toxic, you walk that plank. You go hang out with yourself for a month, come back with a better personality. You get one chance to come back.
What do you mean by walk the plank?
Literally, I'm picturing there's a commune, there's a lake, there's a plank.
Okay.
If you get caught being a fucking nasty bitch on our commune, you walk the plank. You jump in the lake.
What about the cattiness of women?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, there's also no one to be jealous of because the men aren't around.
You get a
trying
caddy
to fuck
card,
you.
like a coffee shop gift card, or you know when you get like 8 coffees and you get a free coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It's a caddy card for women. You get 8 moments where you were too catty. You get stamped, and then you got to walk the plank.
I love it. Or you have to like make dinner or breakfast. Oh my god! And I can totally make dinner like once a week for like 40 people. All right, our commune, it's just actually a movement. I think it's called
a movement
the Red Tent.
I think it's called the Red Tent / You're Gay. And honestly,
but we still might want to fuck the men.
You can fuck the men. Don't
in like
bring them
some
back.
kind of tent.
No, but you know what? You fuck the men, they follow you back to the commune, and all of a sudden they're fucking all of us. You could go fuck the men. I think that there's got to be 2 sects. There's full true lesbians, and then there's masquerading lesbians.
Ooh, but then how do we prevent the more masculine,
women from fucking everyone?
From trying to do
There's nothing wrong with the masculine woman.
Do what the men have always done, which is like fuck the whole family of sisters and then marry them all.
That's the actual rebuttal that you should have, is that women that are butch are often emulating the most toxic parts of men that are toxic.
Right.
So those get to walk the plank too. You either walk the plank by being dumb bitch, and then whatever the words behind that is like being mean, or toxic bitch. You walk the plank. So everyone's on their best behavior because no one wants to walk the plank. By the way, I understand that like what happens after they fall in the lake. What happens is they get all soggy, wet, they grab their things, they get an Uber, they get out of there.
I just think now might be a really good time to experiment with society. Why are we stuck where we've always been?
Yes.
It's like, let's open it up to the floor. Nobody wants AI, or a lot of people don't want it. You probably like it. But like, no one's asking us about any of the ways that all of society's going. And I just think it's like, how do we figure out new ways to be, which they did at the beginning of America. People were like, should cities be built around farms? Like, people didn't really know that we were going to have grocery stores and that, what was going to happen.
I am, we're going to have my wife Shauna on next week. Okay, and what Shauna and I have been talking a lot about is light touch. Light touch, light touch, light touch. She was working in wardrobe. She continues to sometimes do that. But now that our kids are out of the house, she's like, I'm going to do flowers. Light touch. What's going to happen with the flower business? We don't know. Everything light touch, like light touch of like how we live our lives.
Philosophy. I want to talk to her about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about light touch with her.
I'm like mallet.
Mallet touch. All of your fingernails are deeply bruised brown. Mallet touch.
Everything is, and it honestly comes from my childhood. Like, I remember the moment where I was like,
mallet touch.
I remember the moment, like in first grade, like so excited to come home, like, sparkling, effervescent, so excited to talk to my mom, and then coming home and like having like a horrifying thing. And so it's like, okay, my whole life since first grade, I'm always waiting for that because I remember the feeling inside of me. Yeah. Super fun champagne feeling. Oh my God, first grade was so fun. Yeah. To like the heaviest feeling you could ever have, trauma. And now my whole life is waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Always, whenever something good happens. And you know what? Here's another hot take.
Yeah.
I don't know that therapy works.
Oh my gosh, go for it. Tell me.
Well, I'm just like, I've been talking about this shit for 30 years in therapy, and it's like,
well, guess what?
Talking about it makes it bigger sometimes.
Sure, but light touch with who your therapist is.
Right.
I don't think we should just, the message is like, working on it doesn't work, but maybe working on it with being open to light touch. I try a different therapist, light touch, I try a different kind of therapy. Somatic therapy after my miscarriage, I've never talked about it on the podcast before, but yes, I did. I actually did miscarry, and I actually did go to a somatic therapist that was on Zoom.
What's somatic again?
It's like, it feels like the most bullshit, like the immigrant parent in you, a voice in you is going to be like, this is absolute bullshit.
Is it where they don't actually touch you?
They don't touch you. You breathe into your body, and then based on like how you're standing or sitting, they're like your shoulders, what's in your shoulders, and then you breathe, and then it's kind of feels like magic trick, because it's like basically what I felt from it was like it was a deep like unhooking of me from the trauma, because sometimes you have the trauma and you're like, I am the trauma. It feels like you're breathing into something and uncoupling yourself from it being a definitive part of your life. Or it is definitive, but not like ever present, as what I felt from somatic therapy.
So it helped?
It helps a lot. I really like somatic therapy, but light touch with the kind of therapy that you're approaching things with. It's like light touch that we won't feel like the world is doomed forever. Light touch with it all. And light touch with...
Says the woman with a Canadian passport.
I do have one, and it is for sale.
Can you sell them?
No, but you could buy a Canadian. The light touch with like the hysteria of like, where are we going to go? We're all going to go somewhere.
But like someone told me recently, they're like, wait for the problem to occur.
There you go.
So I did that, but the problem occurred, and I like to troubleshoot before the problem occurs.
Sure, but don't spend all your time troubleshooting.
Okay.
Light touch with the troubleshooting. What's your era?
Okay, my era is something happened yesterday that I was pretty fascinated by. You know how like you have a fight with your partner, and you're like, you said that, and they're like, no, I didn't, and you're like, yes, you did, I was there, and they're like, that's not what I said, and you're just like, God, I wish there was a recording,
That doesn't happen in lesbian relationships. JK.
But like that feeling. And so we were in the car yesterday with our daughter, me and my husband, and we got into a squabble, as she calls it.
Squabble up.
We squabbled. And then, because he's like, oh, I want to meet my brother. And I was like, well, I really wanted to walk the dog. And he started like going, oh, let me just call him. And he's like driving and scrambling for the phone. And we got into a fight about I'm like, well, hold on. And then we just got into a fight about it. And then
marriage is so funny because both of those desires are so basic and should be able to get done.
I know. Well, I just wanted to before I put the kid down and before he goes out with his brother, I wanted to be able to walk our dog.
Yes.
It's like I'm kind of like the good person in this, I think.
I think so.
And so we get into a fight. He's pissed. He starts saying, don't talk to me. It was just not good. And then our daughter goes, Dad, all she said was she wanted to walk the dog. And then you started blah, blah, blah. And she basically verbatim repeated what happened. He got schooled.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it was just like, whoa, there is a recording going on. And it's our child.
And I feel like it's...
And she that's never happened before where she could assess what happened and say that I was right.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
Way to go.
Thank
it's
you.
like she's already paying off. And it's also tale as old as time. I feel like some of the vivid memories that I have of my parents arguing is my mom saying, I wish we had a tape recorder. And, and I find that obviously in our, you never think you are the person that escalates things. You always think you're this cutie little baby that's just trying to walk a cutie little dog and you have
I'm
zero
sure I did something wrong.
Of course. But I'm saying it's you never see it that way. And it's validating to have a child be like, oh, no, mom was right.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked by it because she has kind of switched. I was her favorite up until age 6.
Okay.
And then 6 to 7.5, she's
Dad's cool.
Dad's cool. We're equal, Yeah. And sometimes even she'd rather be with him. But that never happened up until 6. So I'm kind of I've dealt with it. I think it's cool. And, honestly, who helped me deal with that is my husband because he never took it seriously when she's always like, Mama, Mama.
I think
he
that's
didn't
so
get jealous
important.
or anything.
I think that is so important. And I've heard a couple different parents, mothers express to me that the child says mom's the favorite. We've talked about it on the podcast. I think someone called in last couple episodes. But when a child says so-and-so's my favorite, we have to be light touch about that. Because
of course, Moshe's always I don't take that seriously.
But there are parents that are butthurt about it and retaliate and retaliate by being okay, cool. You like mom so much, we're going to mom. And it's oh, that's great. That's definitely going to move the marker for you. I really want to hang out with that vibe. Mm-hmm. Guys, you know what I love the most?
What's that now?
I love when our audience reaches out to us with questions.
I know, they're so cute. I actually get I get stopped a lot, when I'm at a party. People are I really like your podcast. I really think it's important that there's a community around this. And so I think that's cool.
We built this show for that person at the party. Let's cue up our first question.
Hey guys, I love the podcast. I don't have kids, but here's my question. How do parents get their kids to stop interrupting them when they're on a phone call with people like me? I call my friends and they're talking to me and their kids at the same time, and it really bothers me. And I don't know how to tell them to discipline their kids in that way, to give mom her time and respect her when she's on a phone call. Because I feel like it's some gentle parenting stuff and they don't want to give a boundary. But that's just my thoughts. Anyways, what do you guys think? How do I help them with this?
First of all, I love that we have people who don't have kids listening
We
to our
have
podcast.
we have a lot of people without kids that listen to the podcast, which I think I think it's just an exploration of how we all were raised, you know? And that's a great question because I think before you have kids and then when you have kids, there's a different sort of empathy and scope to the question. Number one, first of all, it's so fucking annoying to be interrupted all the time. It's so fucking annoying. Natasha knows from doing a podcast with me.
And Moshe. No, well, first of all, what's interesting is I used to hate this because my
Yeah.
best friend from high school had kids early.
Yeah.
And so I was always, a 20, 30-year-old with her and these kids interrupting. And I remember they would just be like, mommy, mommy, mommy. And I'm trying to talk to my friend. And then she'd be like, hold on, Natasha. Yes, sweetie. And then the kid's like, I forgot.
No.
And I used to, that shit would happen all the time. And I was like, what is their problem? And guess what? I do the same thing now.
Of course.
I am constantly letting my daughter interrupt me because I really want her to feel heard.
Yes, because it's like that is where
an
both of
instinct.
our kids are 8 years old now, and this is the moment I think where we can actually start to overhaul. Because before that, it's like death by 1,000 cuts, and you're cut 1,000 times, and you realize like it's never going to change. I think there's like truly like a maturity that at this age
That the kid needs to have?
that the kid needs to have, because like as a baby you just don't understand it. You're like, I have needs. You're a toddler, I have needs. And then you start to like a little bit understand social stuff, but I feel like asking like a 6-year-old not to interrupt is like telling like the cast of Love on the Spectrum they need to be like smoother when they flirt. It's
know.
like not in the
Okay,
wheelhouse.
that's really funny, but here's the problem with your argument.
What?
We didn't interrupt.
Yeah, because you got hit, no?
No, I didn't get hit. My
didn't?
mom did, though.
Okay.
Oh, I got spanked.
Yeah.
I don't even think of that as hit. I think hitting is like an Italian backhanding you.
Therapy works. You're like, me? I never got hit. Oh, spanked. Yeah. Spanked in the face a couple times.
No, I was never spanked in the face. I was like
On your booty.
80s style on your butt. But, I got a pretty big ass, so it was fine.
Natasha, when you've talked about your childhood, it has not seemed like there was zero abuse. I'm sorry. But for me, I think I probably interrupted more because I didn't get hit. But I also think, I don't know, we want the benefit of raising kids that feel important and loved. And then what the downfall of that is that they feel important and loved and they feel supported enough to like interrupt you when they have a thought that they're about to forget, or they truly the lack of emergency with these interruptions. It's like you are like trying to sort something out with your partner and you're like, did we turn off the highway or not? And it's like the kid thinks that's the moment to be like, I saw something that was purple. And you're like, great, we missed our exit, But like, I think this, first of all, is like a losing game until they gain the maturity to understand what it is to be interrupted. I like the thing of like showing them how it feels, like when they're in the middle of saying something, being like, hey, I actually got a call from my boss and I'm going to have to work on Tuesday.
This is so immature.
What?
That technique. You're going to start interrupting them?
Yeah, actually just yesterday.
Does that work?
Just yesterday, Shauna was in a bad mood because she's perimenopausal and she might talk about it next week. But she was in a bad mood and I'm just like sunny Canadian little cutie. And then you know what I decided to do? I'm like, why don't I start acting the same way, sort of cold front vibes? And Wolfie was like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I like whispered to him, I'm like, I'm showing Mama how it feels when you're doing like cold front.
You're like a renegade.
No, and guess what? It worked.
No, it didn't.
No, it worked. She
So
was
she was like, what's wrong? What's wrong, hon?
She just started being a little nicer.
So you're like, you take the enemy's energy
to be like, how does
show
it
it
feel?
back.
Yeah, how does it feel? Because people don't realize how it feels. So how does it feel to be interrupted? Show your kid how it feels to be interrupted. Let them be like, I was thinking tonight I'd have pizza. And you're like, I'm going to definitely be watching Jury Duty tonight because there's a new season out.
How does that make them stop having the instinct to interrupt you, though, and
They,
to think that their needs need to be met at all times?
They will at least understand that it's annoying. They don't connect that it's annoying.
Like, here's the problem. If I told my daughter, because, like, the waiter will come.
Yeah.
And I'm ordering the food.
The waiter at your house.
We're out to eat.
Yeah.
And she's asking me questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've told her now 3 times, let me finish ordering. And
Yeah.
she keeps asking me questions.
Yeah.
If I tell her very nicely, if I were to say, don't you ever interrupt me in front of the waiter again, she
Yeah.
would never do it again.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would
especially if you grabbed her ear really tight.
But I'm just saying, like, there's a reason why people did that in the 50s.
I think you should do some version of it.
Well, my parenting guru, Kim Jong Payne, talks about
Kim
this.
Jong-il. I can never not think about him when
Let's
you
just
say
call him
Kim.
KJP. Okay. So he says, because it's all about kind of this mild intimidation with your body.
Love it.
So you're kind of like putting your hand up in front of their face. Finish talking to your friend. I haven't quite figured how. I haven't tried
Yes.
this yet because I'm
Yeah.
still a little scared. You put your hand in front of their face, almost like a talk to the hand. You finish talking to your hand.
Yeah.
Or you finish talking to your friend.
Yes.
And then when you're done, you remove the hand and say, what was that?
Great.
So and this is what he says, and you start with a longer amount of time with the hand in their face. Not in their face, but it's just kind of like another thing they talk about too is you can't tell your kid things from the other room. It's all about kind of when you want them to do something, you got to be there. You got to be kind of like right next to them. And then they kind of sense like, it's like you get way more that way than you do like yelling from the other room. I told her to get your shoes on.
No, you walk right up to them holding a mallet and you're like, are you going to put those shoes on?
I'm going to start practicing this week the hand in the face and see if it works.
Yes, hand in the face for sure. Hand up or hand in the face. Because then you don't have to interrupt what you're saying. You're like, remember, this is the universal sign for shut the fuck up.
It's wild to me that she would do it like 3 times when I'm talking to the waiter, though. I mean, and she...
Of course, but you know what I've started to do too? Get them to start talking to the waiter because then they understand what that interaction is. Like yesterday, we were in Manhattan Beach, such a cute beach day, and we're grabbing a drink and some snacks, and Wolfie really wants ice water, and he keeps on looking. He's ice water, and I'm like, Wolfie, you're in the exact same position as me. That is our waiter. He's currently talking to someone. Is this a good time to ask for it? No. You're going to have to catch his eye and ask for ice water and ask politely, or maybe he won't want to bring it. So
I taught my daughter this week, you just get your voice to go really high and put your finger up and go, Garçon! And
that is not
great.
welcome. That is not welcome at the commune.
Garçon!
That will have you walking the plank at the commune. All right, let's do another question.
Hi, Natasha and Sabrina. This is a father of 2. My name is Barry, and I need some counsel. I'm afraid my daughter is a mean girl. She's a sweetheart at times, but tantrums pretty uncontrollably at other times. She's well liked and popular at school, but sometimes it seems like maybe she's got prisoners, not friends. When her friends do come over for play dates, my wife and I argue over whether or not to pull my daughter aside when we hear her lambasting her friends. And I can't really tell because girls at that age, she's 11, do kind of boss each other around, but there's a little bit of a argument brewing between my wife and I as to how to handle it. My sense is we should probably try some kind of intervention with her, start some kind of program of, I don't know, talking with her on a regular basis, setting up therapy appointments. My wife is much more afraid that that kind of intervention might make too big an issue of her personality traits that may be temporary or at least part of pre-adolescence. Anyway, thank you so much.
You had me at lambasting.
Lambasting really stuck out. Also, the moment that stuck out for me was that the daughter has friends over and the wife and him are in the kitchen talking about, do we step in or not? To me, if that's already a conversation, you probably should, because I don't know. I feel like I do this sometimes when my Wolfie's 8. He has friends over. They all want to watch a different movie and they start arguing. It's like that's a moment to be like, hey, you're hosting. Not to say that you don't have a say in this, but like let's not push people into doing things. When we host, we like to show people that we can like make them feel comfortable in our space. That's like, to me, hosting is like a very sweet skill that like he sees us flexing, and it's part of like our family identity. And if your daughter has friends over and she's bossing them around and being mean to them, that's a perfect moment to say, I don't think that's the way we do things in our family.
Yes, well, that's funny you say that that's not the way we do it. I would do it privately after the play date, and I would sit her down and say, you know, we heard you talking to your friends, and in our family, kindness is really important. In our family, it's like, that's what my guru says. He talks about, like, it's almost like a statue of David, and you're trying to remove the parts that you don't want to, like, create this, like, kid. And you're in this phase right now where you're, like, trying to shape and mold, garden this, like, kid who's a reflection of what you want your kid to be. Hopefully it's someone who's going to do good in the world and be kind. And I don't know, we're always but I think my daughter is more susceptible to being, you know, talked to by the mean girl, because we've like instilled so much into her of like, you have to be nice, and you know, kindness is like one of the most important things, and you know, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And that's,
well, the kindness thing I think is like the thing to parse out is like part of being kind is also being kind to yourself. That's also like the most important thing, is that you understand how to make yourself feel good and heard and understood. I mean, LOL heard, after we're like, how do we tell these kids to shut the fuck up? But you want to be heard, but not by me when I'm talking to my friends, of course. But I think that like the kindness piece, you can't go wrong with it. I understand that. I've seen a lot of reels.
Why doesn't the wife want to talk to the kid about it?
I think that it's obviously the wife's problem.
Well, it's like you know that your
you
daughter,
know that the wife made her a bitch.
But it's like, why wouldn't you talk to the kid?
I think there's,
it might be age appropriate.
I would guess, based on like the note behind the note on the question, is that you might be having sort of like a feedback loop between the husband and the wife on what to do. And in the meantime, the behavior is festering and getting worse. So like agreeing to disagree, but agreeing to take action is probably the answer. I mean, maybe a therapist right off the bat is an extreme. Maybe it's I love the idea of intervention, because I just think about the show and I think about this daughter like on her phone, like in a room, and like the parents being
giving
like,
orders.
Mariah, ever since you were born, we were worried you were kind of a bitch, but now it's clear you actually are quite a fucking cunt. To be honest, you're mean to me. You're mean to dad.
Oh, poor girl. I mean, it's like,
poor girl.
Why is she bossing her friends around?
I mean, it feels good. It feels good to boss.
I mean, my kid does it to me. She just doesn't do it to her friends.
She doesn't do it to her friends. I also want to be clear that
maybe she does. I don't know what goes on.
The character of Mariah is not a bitch nor cunt.
Right.
However, I think when you start to notice, here's the thing. It's kind of, we're all just these monkeys that have been trained to wear clothes and have podcasts. It's government mandated that we have a podcast. And so then we're like learning how to talk to each other, and we're learning not to interrupt. But really, if we were left to our own devices and taught nothing, we'd be throwing shit at each other's faces and fucking each other and doing really weird ass shit. But one of the things that we are trained to do in this society is not to make each other feel bad, because we've realized in our like civilized people that go to waiter, cosplay, human life, that is a net negative to make people feel bad. But does it kind of feel good to be like, I want it my way? You work for me.
That feels good for me when I'm telling a man. Like I'm sticking, but only if he said something bad to me. Like some of the best feelings in my life have been a man in a work environment telling me what to do or reprimanding me, and me sticking up for myself and winning.
Oh, hell yeah.
That feels good. But that's different, I think, than just randomly making friends feel bad.
So maybe that's actually a good thing for our listener. You could say, hey, Mariah Carey. The daughter's name is Mariah Carey. That's where you first misstooped. Misstooped?
Hey, you're Canadian. We'll accept it.
We misstooped with the Mariah Carey name. But you go, Mariah, it feels good, of course, to get your way. It feels good, of course, to boss people around. Save it for when you're on set and some nightmare director is rude to you. There are places for this energy, but it's not with your friends.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. In our family, because like even talking about like our, the other day we had like one of those games that you play, like,
Yes,
and it's like
question games?
who's the kindest person and it was like fun to think about that. And she had a friend who she said, and we're like, oh, why are they kind? And she's like, well, they always stick up for me.
That's
they always
sweet.
stick up for me whenever they're like, I'm on your side, they're wrong, and it's like, yeah, that is what friends do. And like, I have a friend, my friend Lynn, like she'll always agree with me. I love it. It's like,
This is a moment where you can truly tell that we are not a parenting expert podcast.
no, but she's like, you know what it is? She loves
Friends
me how I
placate
should.
you.
No, she loves me how I should love myself. She's always like, no, you did that when we were little. You were always sticking up. You were always this, and your mom was that, and your brother
She's
was
in
that.
your corner
she's
always.
She's like advocating.
Yes,
they're
yeah.
advocating for you, and I think kids are.
And so did you say Lynn's name instead of my name as an answer?
Well, you're like a new friend, but you're always on my side too.
I'm always on your side,
But
bitch.
You are too, but you weren't raised with me, so you don't know like what I was like when I was 12.
How do you know where I was raised?
I remember being on the swim team when I was like 13 years old, and people being like, "Are you an actress?"
Ooh.
Like in the swim team, and or like, "Are you a comedian?" And I was like, "No," and they were like, "You should be."
The best podcast moment would be if I took off my disguise and I was exactly the person that asked you that. I guess we were raised together.
Well,
Next question.
you would be a good swimmer.
Thank you.
Well, you got nice shoulders.
I've got those big broad shoulders.
Yeah,
Y'all,
I
we
always
got
got
it.
last place.
Did you?
Oh yeah, not a good swimmer, but was there.
But
in the morning.
but a natural comedian because people already were asking you.
I'm just saying, when people grew up with you, know your family, babysat your brothers, it's like they have a more full perspective.
I start crying. I'm like, no, I know that's true. I know that's something that I'll never get into.
All right, and to be honest, Sabrina, I probably wouldn't have hung out with you in high school.
Bitch, wait. Before the next
No, I
question,
might
what are you
have.
talking
No, I
about?
might have.
Wait, what the fuck was that?
Well, because you said that you were like
Had a mustache?
No, because you said that
Had a
you
full
were.
mustache and beard? Yeah.
You said that you were like always sitting in the front row of comedy clubs. Like I probably would have thought you were a nerd or something.
Yeah, but check out my mustache and beard. You really respond to men. Kim Jong-il. I love that, like, your parenting guru also is like, think of it as carving the marble statue of a man.
Listen, I'm going to send you some of his podcasts because his podcasts are free on Spotify. It's called like Simplicity Parenting, and they're all 10 minutes. But you can read the description, and if it's anything, I'm going to send you one that you might think might be. I think you would get something out of it.
Okay, and I'm going to
But you could just keep making fun of his name every episode of our parenting
I think
podcast.
it's impossible not to think of this chubby Korean leader every time you say Kim Jong.
Okay, it's not Jong.
What?
Maybe I'm saying his name wrong.
Well, you said name Rame, so that's always a possibility.
Listen, it's early, babe.
It's early. We record these at 5 a.m. before
You know
our
what?
kids wake
I would have
up.
hung out with you. You're cool.
I think that the listeners will be dials up on you for saying that.
Listen, I just liked like cool musician types.
Oh my God.
Not like comedy.
Not like closeted lesbians that were mad at you for hanging out with your boyfriend. Cool. Yeah. No, go hang out with Michael. That's
Okay, you could be
obviously-
my best friend, Sabrina.
Look, I think you're exactly right. And I think I'm exactly right for having feelings about it. Let's do another question.
Okay.
Hi, Natasha and Sabrina. I am a mom of two. My oldest is 3 years old. My younger child is 5 months. I was wondering if you guys ever went, or if your children ever went through a phase where they felt social anxiety, or as they used to call it, shyness, when meeting new people. If they did, how extreme was it? And how long did they go through that phase? And if they're still dealing with it, what are some of the skills that you might have helped them develop to deal with social anxiety? And my other question is when did you teach your kids how to wipe their butt? All right. Thank you. Love the pod. Bye.
I have to say, I always thought I would have the kind of kid, because I was always like, why do these kids always like go into their mom's like skirt whenever you're like say hi to them?
Yeah.
And then I was like, my kid's gonna be different. And my kid did that too until they were 6. I
It's
think
such a
kids
nice place
just
to be.
don't like adults.
Honestly, if I could go into my mom's skirt every time someone introduced themselves to me at a party, I would 100% do that. First of all, it's absolutely comfy. It's like a standing blanket.
I mean, I don't know that that's what's happening, but it sounds like
no.
it.
What you're describing is exactly kind of the feeling. Is like someone introduces themselves to you. They have also people's expectations of kids are so wacky. People are like, "Hey, nice to meet you. How's your day?" And it's like my kid doesn't have a podcast yet. He doesn't know how to immediately have like a soundbite that's going to make you feel good about this interaction. In fact, the more you expect from them, they're actually kind of the way we want to get to be. When we get older, we get older and we're like, how do I feel better about myself? How do I feel less like I'm like placating everyone around me? How do I feel more like in my body? And kids are naturally, like your 3-year-old is in their body being like, I'm not ready for this. Let's take it slower. Why don't you just be around for a bit and let me come to you?
I went to a party on Friday at
Show
a
off.
really loud bar.
Didn't get an invite.
I told Moshe it's time to go as a cool person.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
When I said I was leaving, I walked out the door, marched out the door, did my little walk out the door, and he didn't come. So he
Okay.
like got lost in the fray saying goodbye to everybody.
Got it.
So then I sat in my car, which we were parked right in front of the bar.
Yes.
And then I pretended to be on the phone.
Okay,
Because
cool-
everyone
cool
was
girl.
like coming out of the bar smoking.
Okay, cool girl.
And I just sat there and pretended to be on the phone until he came out. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was like 15 minutes. But like, I didn't want to go back into the party. But anyway, it's like, there's always new types of social anxiety blossoming. And I'm embarrassed that I did that. But also, I didn't want to keep talking to people.
Okay, so my friend that I do this podcast with, she's talking about being on the phone at a party, and she kind of embarrassingly was talking to herself. What should I say to her?
Honestly, I keep it light. You could say something like, hey, we've all been there. Sometimes the best conversations happen when we're talking to ourselves. At least you know you had an engaged listener. Keep it fun and she'll laugh it off.
Okay, but one other thing that I have to ask you is she's like midway through the podcast, she sort of framed herself as the cool girl. And she said that she wouldn't be friends with me in high school. I feel like I'm cool. I mean, I had problems in high school, of course. You must know this about me. I was socially awkward, closeted. How do I kind of get back on top as the cool girl of the podcast?
You don't have to rewrite history to be cool now. Honestly, owning where you came from, awkwardness and all, is what makes you relatable. You can playfully lean into it. Next time you might say something like, well, sure, you wouldn't have been friends with me back then. You're a loss. But look who you're podcasting with now. Confidence and a good laugh will say more about who's cool than any high school flashback.
Hey, I have another question. My friend who I do the podcast with, I'm really against AI, and she uses AI almost as like a surrogate partner, and I'm a little concerned. What do you think about that?
It's understandable to be concerned if someone is leaning on AI in a way that feels too dependent. AI can be a helpful tool, but it shouldn't replace genuine human relationships. I think it's worth an honest, caring conversation. You could express your feelings, ask what she's getting out of it.
Can I
and
interrupt
maybe
you for a second?
Of course, go right ahead.
Of course,
What's
I'm
on your
not
mind?
real.
What's 4,032 times 16,050?
The product of 4,032 and 16,050 is 64,728,600.
See, I have a
This
point.
is just like a real friend.
I know. It's incredible. Guys, thank you for being our real friend today. That's the end of our podcast.
I can't believe you talked to him like that.
It's so cool. Look,
It's so
how would you
it's
wrap
so
up,
weird.
How would you wrap up an episode that was all about like questions from our
And it's
audience?
not right. The
I'd wrap
advice
it
is
with
not
warmth and gratitude. Something like, that's all for today. Thank you to everyone who sent in their thoughts and questions. You're what makes this podcast feel like a real conversation.
Thank you guys for everything today. You guys are what makes this podcast feel like a real conversation. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all the listeners.
And I'd like to, I echo those sentiments. And I would also like to say you should start having your kid wipe their own butt, probably at 2.
2?
No?
Wow. I don't know. I've lost track of time, but my kid is 2 and still poops in a diaper. So if he's wiping it, it's
Oh, I
kinda-
mean 3. It's all a blur.
I'd say 4. I'd say 4.
Ask your man.
Okay. This will be his.
Does he have a name?
Um,
I like that he
I call
like
him
kind of
Jerome.
pretends to mess up.
Hey, what age do you think that we should tell our listeners to start having their kids wipe their own butt?
I think you could have fun with it and say, honestly, somewhere between when they stop believing in the tooth fairy and when they start rolling their eyes at you. So let's say around age 5 or 6. But hey, every kid's different.
That is
So
like
you'll know when
way
the time-
too old.
Isn't that? But isn't he
And
so
have
cool?
fun with
But
it?
isn't he so cool?
No, he is not, and he's wrong.
Okay.
That is way
have a great
too
day,
old.
guys. Thanks.
Don't use
Please
AI.
Like, subscribe, and follow.
Please join me on the Luddite Trail,
That's so appealing.
the Luddite Society. We're gonna start one.